chaotic, overwhelmed, exhausted, you're not alone. You're in a wave. If this is your first time here, my name is May. I'm your Neurospicy Cyberwitch, and here to guide you through the wild and beauty of being an ADHD empath in a world that moves too fast. I know it isn't as easy, and especially 2025 is energetically very strong, but I am sure that you can do it. You have a beautiful brilliance, and I'm here to show you that. All right, but let's stay with the topic. What are energy waves? Right? What is that? What's the definition of it? For me, we are, and I think especially as neurospicy people, but I don't want to exclude the neurotypical ones. Asking a side note, who is neurotypical? Anyhow, um, but just leaving that one in. But who, for I feel that we are humans, and we're, as humans, we are part of nature. We are part of the cycles of nature. And I believe that the true form of humanity is following, those natural rhythms, like the four stages of a year, the monthly cycles of a woman, the cycle of the moon, the tides, going in and going out, and all of that. Those are all different kinds of stages that we all have. Those are very innate rhythms that we all have. And for me, that is, having, feeling the waves. So a wave of energy for an ADHD empath means I'm fully there. I'm completely in the middle of a, hyper focus, full of energy, going out, maybe even going out to people, and fully there. And then from one moment to another, we crash and we start retreating, and a wave crashes and comes back. And a lot of the times, because in those moments, those are the moments where a lot of the times we feel like that's an ADHD paralysis, or we feel like this, like we feel lazy because we're not doing what we're supposed to do. We're dabbling and doing other stuff. And then, but for me, that's actually us retrieving, taking time for ourselves, gaining strength again, so that once the wave comes back, we can go, with our full strength in again, right? So the more we embrace that, the more you're going to notice that everything else becomes less strong, less overwhelmed, less, paralysis, because you're allowing yourself to actually take a break. So it's not mood swings. It's not inconsistency. Actually, if you start looking at yourself, you see that there's a natural cycle behind it. Depending on where you're living on this planet, you might even have the four stations of the year, right? You might have spring, fall, summer, and winter, and all of those. So you feel, on top of it, being an empath, you feel the energy of everyone else, and everyone else gets a little bit more lazy in the winter. And it's not laziness, it's actually retreating inside. Like all the plants were retreating inside to then come back and bloom in spring, right? So those are the cycles that we have. And everything has a rise, has a crash. Sometimes we recalibrate. And those are so important for us to understand as ADHD empaths. And not just that, to embrace it. And you're going to see the more you embrace all of this. And I'm not saying enable yourself in a paralysis. No. There's a whole bunch of things that we're going to talk about as well. But, it's important for you to embrace that you have those cycles, and to stop making yourself, talking bad about yourself because you're not working as neurotypical people, right? So when you have this inner chaos, it's not failure. It might actually show you things. The more you become the observer of yourself in those waves, in those cycles, you're going to be noticing that those chaotic moments actually say something about you. They actually tell you which sides want to heal, what wants to be looked at. I actually, and this is one of the things that I find so beautiful, and I'm sharing it with you because in spite of me working on all of this for years, I had a very big ADHD paralysis a couple of months ago. And it was triggered by an overwhelm that I had for 5 days. I had to do something, and I had to be in the space of someone else for 5 full days, and those 5 days completely went into my overdrive, and then I went into a paralysis. The thing is, if I watch the waves, is that I had the strength, I was there, I was holding space. As an empath, we hold space for other people, and with that, we sometimes forget to hold space for ourselves, and that's what happened. And I'm so grateful that it happened, because now I'm more conscious with myself about it. Again, it was a beautiful reminder. And also, because the paralysis went on for 2 weeks, it was me having a look at what's happening right now. What am I feeling right now? What is this happening? What is this showing me? And I was able to actually pinpoint the things that need healing within myself. But only because I took the time, I had the time because of the paralysis to look at it. If you know what I mean. We have to, I want it to be normal that having a burnout is not equal to a breakdown. It doesn't immediately mean that we are having a breakdown. We do if it's too much, if it happens too quickly, too fast. Yes, please, we need help for that. Yeah, if it's too strong. And I remember way back when I had my very big burnout, depression because of I was burning out, and I wasn't burning out because of too much work. I was burning out because of too many emotional impacts from the outside, and I needed to come into my strength and to come back to that. And again, today, I'm so grateful for every moment that I had, every suffering that felt like suffering back then, because all of those moments showed me actually where I needed healing. And I have been transforming ever since. And to tell you the truth, I don't have ADHD paralysis in that way anymore. And all that without medication. It's because I worked on my personal, on my topics. We feel so deeply, but we process slower because we need time to integrate things. Right? So our burnout can come quick. That's why for us, it's extremely important to make space for ourselves. And I know for everyone screaming out, May, but I have this and that. And I completely understand you. I'm living in a 3-generational home, being the favorite aunt, being there for my sister, being there for my family in general, for my parents, for everybody. And within all of this, the moment that when I start feeling my energy going lower, I need space for myself. I need to find that space for myself. And it doesn't always have to be a full day, a whole week, moving out or whatever. It can be, an hour to yourself. Go for a walk for an hour for you. And if an hour is too much, take 5 minutes. Start with 5 minutes. The thing for us is we need to prioritize ourselves. And I'm telling you this, it's egotistical if you don't, because you're going to burn out and not have time for everybody else. But the more you take care of yourself, the more energy you're going to have to help everyone else. That's a very important thing that we need to remember. All right? So make it normal for yourself. Watch yourself, be aware with yourself. It's okay to feel off after certain events. I mean, if you've been following this channel for a little while, you've probably known that, I am one that loves Oktoberfest. But as much as I love it, I also need very much regeneration time afterwards or in between, depending on how often I go. And I've made it normal. It's okay for me to do that. If I know I'm going to be, like, I have a plan 2 big meetings with, a group of people this year, actually, sorry, 3. And I know that I've already planned time for myself afterwards because it's important to do that. All right. And I know that we sometimes feel like it's too much, too sensitive, too messy, those are, I don't like the term too much, but it is inherited conditioning because we live in a world that is made for neurotypical. And I don't like the word neurotypical as well, because I question who is neurotypical, but anyhow, so for, it's a conditioning of society that we have, that because of the way we are. But the thing is that we have come here as ADHD empaths, we have come here to break traditions, to break, societal norms. And we are going to be different. And I know that we need strength for that. And sometimes we just don't have the strength, and it's okay. It's time to retreat in that time, right? Our sensitivity is a sensory brilliance that we have. It's not a flaw. And the more we embrace that, and I hope you do, you're going to be standing in your own power. I love how my Hawaiian teacher actually taught me to stand in my divine brilliance. And I believe that when she taught me that, it was to teach everybody else to stand in their divine brilliance, because I believe everybody can, and you are brilliant. All right. So, as a reminder, energy is not linear. Energy goes all over the place, right? And when you reframe that, instead of seeing overwhelm as, that you're broken, reframe that for yourself. If that's the one thing you can take away from today, is that please reframe that overwhelm means that you're broken. You're not broken. It's your system telling you right now it's a little bit too hot. You know how a boiling pot starts overflowing? That's us when we're in overwhelm. All right. So just to give you a little bit to, some tools to move forward with this. Recognize for yourself, the three phases: ride, rest, recalibrate. Ride the wave, take a moment to rest, recalibrate, and then ride the wave again, rest and recalibrate. And bring that on as often as possible. When you can, if you are too much in your overwhelm, you should have an emergency kit. I think I've spoken a lot about it, but I'm just going to give you a little reminder in case you haven't heard it before, or if this is your first time. When I talk about an emergency kit, it's not a physical kit. It's actually like a list that you have of things that help you bring your energy from either too high or too low to a neutral level, a harmonious level. It can be, for me in the summertime, weirdly in the summer times, it's because, that's when everybody starts going out and you want to do that too. But at the same time, you just want to be by yourself or rest. And that my favorite thing to do in that time is actually watch Christmas rom-coms. I know, it's weird, but it has to be summer for the Christmas rom-com. Another thing that I love that helps us and that I will insist on a lot of the times, and please find whatever practice is best for you. For example, for that list is having some form of body scan or something that brings you back to your body. It can be breathing techniques. I love the one where you breathe in for 3, hold for 3, breathe out for 6, or make it 4 and 8 if you want to. Or go for walks, or, have your favorite food, soul food, different kinds of soul foods. Like I have a list of soul foods, and whenever I'm not feeling good, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get that because it just makes me feel okay, or, gets me to a level. We don't have to, if we're feeling down or without energy, we don't have to get into the energy. It's okay for us to just, come up to breathe, right? Find some beautiful journal prompts. Being the cyber witch I am, ask Chatty to, have a chat with ChatGPT, and, ask it to help you, release everything. I've done that. Like take ChatGPT and just let everything out, speak it out, and say, Chatty, can you please organize my thoughts? Here they are, and just, speak them out. It is an energetic release. If you don't want to do the technical part, use your journal or whatever papers you have, and then start writing it out of your system. That also helps a lot. And the biggest thing, of course, is normalize the pauses. Normalize for yourself to have moments, which I already said, right? So the more you observe yourself, the better you're going to know when you're in a pause or retrieve. How do we call them? Recalibrating time or resting time, right? And one of my favorite Hawaiian sentences that I've known: you're always the right person at the right time at the right place. Ika ponomea, a Hawaiian sentence. Ika ponomea. You're always the right person at the right time at the right place. So that's intuitive timing. There's a divine timing for things. Don't force things too much. Try to feel your own flow. All right? So just to have a little recap for you, energy moves like waves. Give yourself permission to rest. You're not too much because of it. You are tuning in. Let's normalize tuning in. And with that said, my beautiful soul, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you want to, please share it with a friend, with someone that you think might resonate with what I talked about. And with all that, I hope you have a wonderful time. And giving you one last reflective question for you, hoping that it will help you through this. What if your exhaustion is not a flaw to fix, but a whisper from your wave to soften, to slow down, and to return to yourself?